engines now firing up at maximum thrust. And liftoff for the 500th time from Gagarin's start, a rocket roaring into the air. Sergei Volkov, Andreas Mogensen, and Aidyn Amatov on their way to the International Space Station. Here in reports, good first stage performance. The Soyuz delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust from those 4 strap-on boosters and the single-core engine. The first stage of the Soyuz was about 68 feet in length, 24 feet in diameter, burning liquid fuel for the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds into the flight.
– 60 seconds into the flight. Roll, pitch, and yaw are on nominal. Copy. The crew is doing well. Everything's in order on board. Copy.
And you can see the sun peeking in now. The launch shroud has been jettisoned.
Copy. Can you confirm L5 and R13?
And third stage separation confirmed. A bit of a kick in the pants for the crew members on board, but
continuing with control insertion.
Getting good reports on vehicle stability. A thumbs up and a wave there from Kazakh cosmonaut Aidyn Amatov making his first flight into space today.
Seconds into the flight.
190 seconds since liftoff. The Soyuz traveling in excess of 4,700 miles per hour.
Crew is
So the Soyuz crew was awakened at about 2:37 p.m. Central Time today, which is roughly about 9 hours prior to the launch. The crew members then participating in all the final pre-launch activities, as is tradition with all of these crews. Before departing for the launch pad, all 3 crew members autographing the doors of the Cosmonaut Hotel in Baikonur, Kazakhstan, where they spend their final days in quarantine right before the launch. Again, this is the first time to sign the doors for Mogensen and Amatov, but Volkov himself, a veteran space flyer, making his 3rd flight to the International Space Station. This will be his 3rd signature on that door. The 3 crew members representing 3 different space agencies with this launch today, both the Russian Federal Space Agency Roscosmos, the European Space Agency ESA, and Kazcosmos, the Kazakh Federal Space Agency. Then receiving a traditional blessing from a Russian Orthodox priest. The priest also typically blessing the rocket itself a day or 2 before the launch, and any lucky media members who happen to be out there. And then at around 5:37 p.m. Central Time today, the crew departed the Cosmonaut Hotel and made their way down, the traditional song playing in the background for all of these walkouts. Typically joined by any friends, family, and well-wishers, and also program guests and other VIPs there to attend the launch. They then board a bus for the ride over to the Integration and Suit-Up facility over at what's known as Building 254 on the Baikonur Cosmodrome. So departing from the town of Baikonur itself out onto the Cosmodrome territory.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Again, this took place just a little over 5 hours ago at roughly 5:37 p.m. Central Time. The crew departing their rooms at the Cosmonaut Hotel and boarding onto a bus before heading out to the Integration and Suit-Up facility, giving some final waves to folks there at the Cosmonaut Hotel. And the crew arriving at that Integration and Suit-Up facility, also known as Building 254, at about 6:22 p.m. Central Time today. each of the crew members undergoing their final medical exams and then getting suited up in their SOCO launch and entry suits. As you can see, the white suits being assisted by the suit engineers down there in Baikonur. Once they're suited up, the suits are pressurized just to ensure the integrity of all of their seals, make sure that they're flight ready. The suit-up activities beginning at around 7:07 p.m. Central Time, which is just 4.5 hours prior to liftoff. You can see veteran cosmonaut Sergei Volkov there in the background. Andreas Mogensen, the Danish astronaut representing the European Space Agency on this flight today, being suited up earlier this evening. Or the early morning over there in Baikonur. And then the third and final crew member for this evening being suited up earlier, Aydin Amatov from the Kazakh Space Agency. This will also be his first time into space. 2 rookies on this space flight. And the 3 crew members will wear these SOCO launch and entry suits for exactly what they're named after, launch and entry, basically.
Of course. No. So we're done, we can undock.
And so at this point they head into a room to do those air pressure checkouts. Again, each of the suits, the crew members going into a mock-up Soyuz seat one by one and having their suits pressurized just to ensure that they have a tight seal and are flight ready. And while this is happening, once they get their suit checked out, they're able to head over to the protective pane of glass in place to help maintain their quarantine, to speak to various officials from their home space agencies, and also getting a chance to talk to friends and family. This one of the last, or the last chance for most for the crew to talk with everyone prior to heading out to the launch pad. Also getting a chance to relax a bit while going through these leak checks.
Артем просто говорит, не надо, он говорит громко, а то, что надо, Артем говорит тихо.
And who is the commander of the vehicle? You're going to work until March? All the best.
Waving farewell to everyone as they walk down the tarmac to once again load up onto the buses. Walking down as they'll be seated in their Soyuz spacecraft following this, as they are right now as we await the launch. Saluting the members of the Russian State Commission.
Chairman of the Intergovernmental Commission on behalf of the crew. The report is accepted. Have a good trip. Okay, turn around. Turn around, gentlemen.
Good luck, Andy. All the best.
Three crew members boarded their bus at about 8:37 p.m. Central Time, riding it on over from Building 254 to launch pad number 1. Drive typically takes about 25 minutes, and they arrived at the pad at 8:59 p.m. Central Time.
The crew ready for lunch. Hold on a second. Let's take pictures. You're holding on to me so I don't divert from this path. Good luck.
So the crew members wave goodbye at the pad and then board the elevator for the ride to the top of the Soyuz rocket in order to get into that Soyuz capsule. At this point, they've been on board for about an hour and a half now. Soyuz rocket, as you can see behind them, billowing oxygen, was fueled about 3 hours prior to the scheduled liftoff. Final elevator ride up to the capsule, the three crew members ready to load into the Soyuz.
Well, this flight turns out doesn't strike me any different than all the other ones I've been to. It's fascinating to watch our Russian colleagues prep a vehicle for launch, get the crew ready, get them in the Soyuz, and see the Soyuz safely get them to orbit. And you're always excited when they get there safely to orbit and look forward to their arrival on station. And it's always very, very heartwarming just to know that they've made it safely to low Earth orbit and they're on their way to station. And it seems as many times as I've done this, it always feels exactly the same. There's a sense of relief when they get there, excitement before they launch, and quite a bit of excitement when they get to ISS. Well, the station's in great shape. I'm very happy to say that the vehicle is in fantastic shape. We've got good spares on board, good logistics on board. We're doing fascinating research. Perhaps one of the things I'm most proud of is that we've managed now to get the commercial users to start coming to ISS, and that's starting to flourish as well. So In this particular time, the vehicle's ready to go. It's ready to go at least another 10 years, if not longer. And it'll continue to support us as long as I think we'll need her in low Earth orbit.
Again, my initial thought is just what an amazing international mission to see the Danish astronaut, the Russian astronaut, and the Kazakh all going to the International Space Station to join up with our crews and to meet with the 6 crew members on orbit. So what a great start. What a way to really showcase what an international endeavor we're in, to see these 3 partners participate in this activity, and for me to be with them. This was the first flight for the Danish, was really special to see the excitement in their eyes, to see how excited they were about this launch, to see their astronaut doing the things that maybe we see as commonplace. They saw it new and fresh, and to catch their excitement and to see what's going on, it really highlights the wonderful international aspect that this space station brings really to the world. Again, I think these countries working together internationally and figuring out ways to get past differences, to understand different ways of doing engineering, and not one is better than the other, but actually blending them together for this common achievement of building this magnificent facility in space, and then not only building it, but now utilizing it to do research is just phenomenal. So when I think about Space Station, clearly the international involvement and the way it's brought countries and peoples around the world together in a research activity is just absolutely phenomenal.
So I have seen several launches, but you see this is the first launch, whereas I, as a Director General of ESA, have some direct responsibility, and I feel really it's warming up my heart. I see this European astronaut of Danish nationality with his crewmates in the small Soyuz capsule flying to the International Space Station. It's just great.
It was a great experience, and you know, it touches you both on the inside and the outside when so much power is launched in so few seconds. So it was a great personal experience for me, and also very nice that it went so well. Well, as me as a person, of course, I'm very happy for Andreas Mogensen because it's a big life experience for him. As a minister, it's important that Denmark can do business in space, and we are now represented by a Dane, but also for our companies at home and our students that have an interest in nature and science. This is a very important event.